The sound of the South.
Lucy Ambache. BBC Radio Solent.
Thank you so much for listening to us this morning on BBC Radio Solent. This lady is so going to be good for our guide to making $1 million. Former Dragon in Dragon's Den for 2 series. She has a previous career in banking. She's a multi-investor. She can sniff out a good deal. It's Jenny Campbell. Hi, Jenny.
Good morning, Lucy.
Thank you so much for coming on this morning. So we're compiling this guide. You're absolutely the woman who can help us. When you've seen many business ideas, how do you know that an idea is a good idea?
Well, I always look at the entrepreneurs themselves, first of all. Can they make this work? Have they got a certain amount of pizzazz and courage that they can take this to market and sell it and scale it? So I'm looking at the individuals in the first place. It's not easy being an entrepreneur, and it's not that easy to just make $1 million. So it's got to be about the people first. And then it's about the idea. Is this an idea where I would say, is there a market for it? But not only is there a gap in the market, but it's easy to identify gaps in the market, but crucially, is there a market in the gap? Because it may be so small, it's not worth it. So I'm looking for a product that, has got that scalability. And I always want something that I know and like myself. I can't really get behind something that I can't feel passionate about. So that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, so you say there's the people and then there's the idea. What if there's a really good idea but you don't like the people? Then that's a no for you in terms of you getting involved with it.
I wish them good luck, but I can't get behind it. I smile and I think that's someone else's investment. I may even reference them to someone else who it's more their thing. But if I'm going to spend 3 to 5 years with these people helping them scale it, I want to spend time with people I enjoy being with and I can relate to.
Yeah, and you see that on Dragon's Den, don't you? You sometimes see these people and you think, oh, they're so annoying. I mean, I wouldn't want to work with them.
Yes, exactly.
I'm out.
Exactly.
What do you like to invest in? What sort of business do you like to invest in?
Well, a variance of businesses, really. I was a banker for many years, and therefore I looked after everything from shopkeepers to lorry drivers to farmers to house builders. So, a generic set of investments. But, the things I've been drawn to are to do with the pet market because I'm a big dog lover. I've got a gin business because I'm partial to a drop of gin. I've invested in a lorry advertising business. I've been close to sort of media advertising on metal boxes, as I put it, before. And, another one was non-medicinal cannabis because I do believe in sort of non-medicinal healthcare products. So, again, it's those things that I can relate to and I think I can get behind and give a boost to.
What is the quickest way, though, Jenny? How can I quickly make $1 million?
Quickly make $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, my three C's to success are courage, clarity, and capital. So you've got to be brave. You've got to have a lot of courage to grasp and make an opportunity happen. You've got to have a plan. That's the clarity. You've got to have a vision of what you're trying to do and where you're going and be able to adapt that, plan A, plan B. So it's having real clarity on what you're trying to do. And the crucial thing is you've got to have some capital to start with, however small. And the little story I relay is, the children always tell you I'll show you how to do this best, don't they? I went into a school one day under the Young Enterprise scheme, and a bunch of school children had spent £50 ordering 1,000 little plastic clips that you put on the end of your phone wire to stop it fraying. And they bought 1,000 of those from China for £50. So that tells you they're 5 pence each. And then they went round the school and they sold them all for 50 pence each. And the kids were clamouring for them and paying their 50p's over. And so they turned their £50 into £500. And you've got to start with simple ideas like that.
Okay, I've written that down. Courage, clarity, capital, the 3 C's.
Absolutely. If you haven't got any capital, go and raid your attic. Catch in the attic. Start learning how to sell things.
Are entrepreneurs nice people?
Hey, there's all walks of life, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, aren't there? So most people I like to think are good people. There's a fringe of people that are not so nice in life, but I learned from someone wiser than me to spend my time with people who are good people, and that's what I try to do.
Yeah. Okay. That's added to the list then. Courage, clarity, and capital from Campbell. Jenny, thank you so much for setting us on our way and our guide to making a million. And we may well come back to you with all our big ideas and dazzle you with them. How about that? Okay,
just go for it. Get going.
Yeah. Cheers, Jenny. Thank you so much for coming on. Lovely to speak to you.
All right, then. Take care.
BBC Radio Solent.
Have you got any clever ideas of how to make £1 million? Our guide to make £1 million continues this morning. This lady should be able to help us. Becky Lodge founded Startup Disruptors, and they help businesses to start up who have a great idea and help them to progress. Becky, hello, welcome to the show.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you very much, my friend. So you see business ideas in their many. How do you assess if a business idea is a viable idea?
I think there's a lot to do with the entrepreneur themselves, as Jenny Campbell said earlier.
Yeah.
I think the 3 C's that she brought up were absolutely key. But also there's a thing about how open the entrepreneur is to collaborating. So mindset for me is really important, and especially when you scale technology companies, because we actually help digital, creative and technology businesses a great deal to secure funding and venture capital funding. And actually building a strong team is key. So if somebody has quite a fixed mindset and is hyper-focused, that's fantastic. They need that. But they need that element of openness to be able to accept advice and help. And that can obviously be a huge stumbling block for some people who are too protective of their idea or have a scarcity mindset. So mindset is super important.
Do you know, we've heard a lot about that, haven't we? Personality. Because, I've always thought, it's the idea, isn't it? Come up with the idea, it's genius. But actually, you're right. The person, the being able to work, the being able to communicate, being able to manage it, certain type of people it's just not going to work with, is it?
Yeah, and I think what we see I've coached and mentored 4,500 people across the Solent region to start a business in the last 6 years. And what we see are entrepreneurs tend to be neurodiverse, which means they often have dyslexia. They're 600% more likely to have ADHD. So there's a raft of mental health challenges that come with this. And part of our building a community in Startup Disruptors was building a safe space where people could thrive and also get the mental health support and balance and well-being that they needed, because they can burn out. Yeah. By working too hard, overcommitting, and just expecting that things are going to happen too quickly. So
patience.
Patience.
Oh, I'm putting that on.
Important.
Becky, can I put that down on my list?
Of course you can. Yeah,
okay.
Patience is huge. Yeah. And also actually being well networked is key, because it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Okay. To just go back to the mental health thing you just touched on there. So you're so driven that nothing, by this idea, that nothing, you can't see anything else. It's only this idea. Yes.
Okay. And I think that comes with neurodiversity. So hyperfocus is part of a neurodiverse makeup in the pathways of people's brains, the way that they are wired.
But it's a fine line, isn't it? Because you've got to be driven, but then you can't be too driven. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to be driven, but I think you've also got to be able to execute. So what we see a lot of people doing very early on is working long hours, burning out too fast, refusing help often, refusing advice because there's a scarcity and a risk-averse mentality that comes with neurodiversity, and it just people end up in a really bad place. And we actually partnered with Solent Mind to actually help with this. So actually avoiding entrepreneur burnout is a very real thing, especially in the early ideas and the 12 to 24 month stages of initial sort of looking for traction and going to market.
Yeah, fascinating that. So what business ideas, we're coming out of this pandemic.
Yeah.
We're all getting a lot of people getting vaccinated. This is a big change in the market. There are some big ideas to happen now. We've seen our lives completely change. There's business ideas, there's gaps right now. Yeah. What is working? Give us some business ideas that are getting thumbs up.
Okay, so in terms of stats, there's 500,000 businesses been started in the UK since the pandemic started. So this is going to be a huge trajectory. Side hustling, so starting stuff on the side of your day job, is a good shout. So there's less risk involved in that. But the big money is actually made, obviously, in technology. But funding for technology businesses is much rarer than people think. Only 1% of businesses ever get angel investment or venture capital VC investment. So people have to be very aware that they're into a lot of competition in the technology sort of path. But traditional bricks and mortar businesses, they still have their place. You've only got to look at the brothers that own Asda in the UK that bought it back off Walmart. They started, I think, with petrol stations and corner shops. So I would say to people, actually exploiting an opportunity is easier than you think. It is more Derek Trotter than it is Steve Jobs in the early days. It is much more Del Boy. If you can get something and service a need in a market or provide a product that solves a problem, then you're going to make money. The issue is whether the niche is going to be big enough, which Jenny talked about earlier, to exploit it for scalability and market size. So business modelling is super important. But I would say if you're looking at technology, digital and creative, those are massive growth sectors right now. But also don't underestimate the fact that you might actually be able to identify a really cool idea. If there's something that you want and it's not available, then look into the logistics around the business modelling first, and actually start to talk to other people to see if this is a viable, what we call value proposition, in being able to take something to market.
There's a lot to take in there, Becky. Digital technology, exploiting opportunities. I've written it all down. And when we make our millions, Becky, are we going to be? And we're there on our super yacht. We're going out of the Solent, and it's huge. It's 100 foot, and everybody's watching us. And are we happy? Are we going to be happy when we make our millions?
I don't think chasing the money is the thing. But the most successful people I've seen that have made millions in the past 30 years as an international sales and marketing director, working for people that have made millions, but also now, obviously, hopefully on the pathway myself, and helping mentor millionaires as well from startup and until they get funded, is that they're just passionate about what they do, and the money is a secondary thing. So if you're starting out to make money, might not always be the right mindset to start with as an entrepreneur. Try and do something good and try and solve the problem.
That is a brilliant way to end it. Thank you very much, Becky Lodge. Startup Disruptors. She founded that. Becky, thanks for coming on. Cheers. Take care.
The sound of the South.
Together, we can make a difference. BBC
Radio Solent.